So we seen the video. We know what's going on. And let me let him play.
News now out of Memphis. A jury has found 3 former police officers charged in the deadly beating of Tyree Nichols not guilty on all 7 state counts. The officers' charges included second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and aggravated kidnapping. Last year,
whoever the judge is need to be fired. Whoever came up with this verdict, they need to go to jail. Because this is just pathetic.
the 3 were among a total of 5 convicted on federal charges, including witness tampering. Police camera footage captured officers kicking and punching Nichols after he fled a January 2023 traffic stop. He died 3 days after the.
You mean to tell me they beat a federal case? The system, bro. We got to have street justice. That's the only thing that matters to this point.
Beating. CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca has been following this case every step of the way. And Omar, remember that video when it came out, just so tremendously disturbing and upsetting. Take us through this decision.
Well, of course, the judge came forward and the court said that the verdict had been reached. So everybody came on in and they filed in. The judge told everyone not to, no outbursts in the court, which is pretty typical in emotional cases like this. And as you mentioned, Tadarrius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith, all found not guilty. They each faced 7 charges, the big one being second-degree murder. That was punishable by up to 15 to 25 years in prison.
Now, they are in a Divine Nine, so they probably wanted to give these guys a pass. This is what I'm saying. When you in these little secret society groups, all of them was Q-dogs. The same one like the Q-dog that killed that boy in Louisiana, Caleb Wilson. How can y'all let somebody get away with this? Catch them and stretch them, bud.
Official oppression, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, all those charges that you mentioned, all not guilty. A little background here on this jury, though. This happened in Memphis, Shelby County, near the Arkansas border. That's where Memphis is. Well, during the course of this trial, they were saying we needed to find an impartial jury. So they had to go 300 plus miles to Chattanooga area, Hamilton County, to find that jury. So the jury is not from Memphis. They are from Hamilton County, 300 plus miles away. We found out it is an all-white jury. There were no African Americans on that jury. The jury in Memphis is a predominantly African American.
Wow, you see?
So that's something that now people are talking about. A little bit more of some perspective here. There was a federal trial before this, and those officers either pled guilty or were found guilty of charges, but they were lesser charges, everything from excessive force with injury and witness tampering. They have not been sentenced for the federal crimes that they were convicted of, so we're going to wait to see. But the families are looking for justice, and now they're not going to get it from the state side. They feel they're going to have to get it from the federal. But we have to see with those lesser charges what kind of sentence comes from that.
Any reaction that you're tracking so far?
It's very early. Some of the family is in.
So basically what he's saying is just the state, but still, I don't care what it was. We seen the footage. They shouldn't be allowed to have a not guilty verdict when we see the footage and the public sees what's going on. But you know what? At this point, we don't have no faith in the justice system no more. This is why people are taking justice into their own hands. If you on camera doing something wrong that you're not supposed to be, we're going to be the ones that has to, we can't trust the justice system. They're not for giving justice to us. All white jury probably was like, you know what, we're going to cause some ruckus. The feds can definitely not have no charge like this. This was just, we seen the video. How can you sit up? How can 7 jurors see a video like this and say not guilty of nothing? Excessive use of force of nothing. Like, you could just see somebody get beat in the streets. So this what lets us further understand why, we have to have our own street justice. We can't rely on them to a juror that they pick and go into a racist town where they're going to be favorable for their decisions and make it happen. It can't work like this. We got enough cameras now.
In there, they were quiet. They weren't allowed, obviously, no outbursts of any sort. But we're waiting to see if they come out and speak. Interesting note that we do have some reporting from Elise Preston also told us that the prosecution brought 5 witnesses forward. The defense brought 17 witnesses. And keep in mind, the burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove their case. That's what they used, 5 witnesses. The defense used 17 witnesses, and maybe that weighed in on the jury. They polled the jury. It was unanimous on their decision-making, but unless the jurors want to talk to find out what exactly convinced them, we may never know.
This is a shot inside the courthouse right now that we are watching. There were 2 other officers who did not stand in this trial. Where do they fall in the case?
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them were involved in the federal trial, and some of them also testified in cases too, talking about their action. Now, the defense basically, part of their argument was that everything that they were doing was part of their training. They're saying the whole time that Tyree Nichols, when you saw the video of the beating, they said they kept on asking him to comply. They kept on asking him to comply, give him his hands so they could put him in cuffs. And the defense kept on saying, once the cuffs were on, the beating stopped. Now, there was arguments of prosecution saying this was excessive force, this is what caused it, and that nobody was stopping anybody else from hitting him. And the prosecution was relying on that, hoping that the jury would see that as enough to reach that bar for second-degree murder. But as we learned just a few minutes ago, it was not. They were not guilty on all charges.
What happens next in this case? What are you tracking?
Well, there's going to be civil, first of all. And granted, there's no jail time for a civil case. This could challenge, obviously, the way Memphis PD operates. And that's no solace. That's not going to bring back Nichols for their family. But we want to see what kind of punishment is going to be handed down on the federal case, which already happened. But again, those officers were convicted on lesser charges. There was no murder charge. Like I said, the charges were excessive force with injury and witness tampering on the federal level, not the second-degree murder that would have gotten 15 to 25 on the state level.
Okay.
So this is what shows us when you in these little groups, bro. You know, you got a little edge than a regular person, but this is crazy. It's blasphemy that they could even come to a verdict like this, man. Just anger. It's going to anger a lot of people in the community. That the police would actually are not held accountable. And we see it time and time again. Don't matter who the color is now, they probably sent those black guys to do it, in my opinion, because they were all in the same gang. So it was like a gang within a gang. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was something into this more than just, they just randomly Q dogs and they did this. I think this is deeper. You know, on my channel, I go over the Divine Nine and these organizations, these groups that stick together, they dominate in the political field. They be in black colleges and they get our young men to join and they get hazed and they're going into these fraternities. So I think this is another case of that. Okay, some kind of ritual, but disgusting verdict. I'm not guilty. A lot of people going to be angered about this. I know this made me very upset to think that. But what am I expecting? I don't expect to get no justice from the court system. They haven't been doing it, and I don't think they're just going to start. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I'll catch y'all in the next video, man. Peace and love.
You are totally dependent on other people to take care of your needs because you don't have those roots sunk into the ground. To have a community, you must have 3 things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control 4 basic things You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.